MasthanSwami. MasthanSwami was a staunch Muslim. His parents, who observed all the religious codes, rituals and disciplines rigorously, brought MasthanSwami up in the same manner. Even as a child of 8 years, Masthan would enter into Samadhi without knowing what it was. He had the natural ability to be detached from people and things from childhood. This remarkable devotee followed all the Islamic injunctions and was very much devoted to Allah and Prophet Muhammad. His natural inclination towards the Samadhi experience coaxed him to start reading and picking up Tamil. Soon, he was studying books like Kaivalya Navanitam and Sukar Vasishtam. The simple Tamil poems of the 19th century Sufi mystic Gunangudi Masthan, which are Vedantic in nature, were also a powerful influence. But though MasthanSwami participated in Muslim festivals like Ramzan, Eid, etc., his mind and heart were tuned to the inner self, going into Samadhi and reading and singing Tayumanavar songs. Tayumanavar songs were extolled by Bhagavan because they dealt purely with the truth. Other saints have brought in Siva and other gods, but Tayumanavar stuck to the teaching of going into silence, and MasthanSwami was well versed in that. In 1914, MasthanSwami lived in Tesur, a village 40 miles away from Tiruvannamalai, and from where Desurammal hailed. Being two of the only people in that village who shared a similar spiritual madness, the two became friends. One day she told him, "MasthanSwami, you must meet my Guru." She then brought him to Bhagavan in Virupaksha cave. Masthan, a staunch and devoted follower of Islam, describes his first darshan of Bhagavan. He was seated like a rock. His unswerving gaze was filled with grace, compassion, and steady wisdom. I stood by his side. After giving me a look, he opened the gate of my heart, and I was also established in his state in the very first encounter. Just one look from Bhagavan, and I stood like that for 8 hours, absolutely without fatigue and filled with total absorption and peace. In those days, at Virupaksha cave, Bhagavan would open our heart with a single gracious look and we would be transformed. There was no need for any questions, since by his look, he made us like himself. What a wonderful man Masthan was. On this very first encounter itself, he took Bhagavan as his guru. He had already read about the qualifications and marks of a guru. He could see that seated in front of him in human form was not only his guru, but God as well. When he returned, MasthanSwami experienced some conflict within himself. Until then, his master had been Prophet Muhammad. Though Allah was God and Prophet Muhammad was his guru, here was a living guru, Ramana Maharshi. Am I disloyal to my other guru, Prophet Muhammad? He wondered. He was filled with Bhagavan's presence. But as he was brought up in the Islamic tradition, he had this feeling that, am I brushing aside my master Muhammad because he is no more in the body? Fortunately, he was bold enough to go to Bhagavan and confess, "Bhagavan, this is my problem. Please help me." Bhagavan looked at him for some time. Bhagavan was never interested in the question. Instead, Bhagavan was always interested in the questioner. He looked at MasthanSwami and showering all his grace replied, "Do you take this body to be Bhagavan? Do you think the Prophet is dead? Then is the Buddha dead? Is Jesus Christ dead? Are they not guiding hundreds of thousands of people even today? Are they not living in the heart? A living guru means the one living in one's heart as a guru. A living guru does not mean somebody living in a body at a given historical time and in a given geographical space. The guru lives eternally in your heart. Heart is Allah, heart is Jesus, heart is Buddha, and heart is Bhagavan. Live in the heart as the heart by diving into the heart. These words were recounted to me by Vishwanatha Swami. I could not grasp them immediately, so I requested him, please explain it so that I can understand. He said, the Guru is always timeless. To talk of the Guru in time, you bring in death, birth, living, all this. There is only the Guru principle, which is the heart of every one of us. I said, Swami, how do you say this? He replied, a devotee once came from Lahore. Tiruvannamalai and Lahore are more than 1,000 miles apart. In the 1930s and 40s, travel was almost impossible in India. He could only stay for a month or so. When he was to leave, he wept before Bhagavan. Bhagavan, how can I leave you and go? Bhagavan said, where are you going? Can you go away from Bhagavan? Bhagavan is always with you. Bhagavan is in you. In fact, you yourself are Bhagavan. See the beauty of the answer. When Bhagavan says you yourself are Bhagavan, how can a Ganeshan or a Vishwanathan be Bhagavan? It is the I am in Vishwanathan and Ganeshan. That is Bhagavan. The living master is always in the heart as awareness. This awareness that is in you, in me, and in every one of us is Arunachala Ramana, God, Self, Heart, Allah, Jesus, Buddha. We can give it any name. MasthanSwami was a multifaceted personality. He was a weaver. It was said of him that he was the Kabir of Bhagavan. He was totally devoted to the master, just as Kabir was to his. He began coming regularly to Bhagavan. He relinquished weaving as a profession and wove only to make loincloth and towels for Bhagavan. Being a total ascetic, he never married. He begged in the streets of his own village. When he came to Tiruvannamalai, he would often come with Desurammal. Desurammal had money and brought lots of food because she wanted to feed Bhagavan. MasthanSwami would carry the rice and dal on his head and walk the long distance from Desur happily. It was not a burden for him because he was going to meet his master. At Arunachala too, he would beg for alms. Masthan had many conversations with Bhagavan. Of one such conversation, MasthanSwami recounts, "Once, while I was on my way to see Bhagavan, I prayed for his grace. On arrival at Virupaksha cave, he asked me, 'Do you like Saguna Upasana, worship on God with form, or do you prefer Nirguna Upasana, worship of the formless God?' I replied, 'I choose Nirguna Upasana.' Bhagavan then gave me this beautiful instruction. Fix the mind in your heart. If you keep your attention on the source from where all thoughts arise, the mind will subside there at the source and reality will shine forth." Though I have come across similar teachings in other books, these words of wisdom coming in the holy voice of my Guru penetrated my heart and implanted themselves as the way for me. After this meeting with Bhagavan, I had no further doubts about this. In fact, no doubts arose at all after this. Bhagavan thus guided him to be established in the heart. Many a time, MasthanSwami went around the hill with Bhagavan. Once when he was divinely intoxicated, Bhagavan asked him to sing songs of the Sufi saint Gunangudi Masthan. Bhagavan loved those songs. Masthan says, "I sang in the highest voice because it was my master who had made the request." Another interesting incident Masthan relates is about Bhagavan and a large golden-colored mongoose. That it was golden-colored was very unusual, considering that these shy creatures are normally grey in color. It was the Kartikeya Deepam festival time. Hundreds of people were climbing up the hill. Running through the crowds, this mongoose went into Virupaksha cave. It began searching every nook and corner of the cave. At that time, Palani-Swami was not there, as he was taking a bath in a stream nearby. Not finding Bhagavan inside, the mongoose went outside and licked Palani-Swami's feet. Then it started climbing up further to Skandashrama, where Bhagavan was. On reaching Skandashrama, the mongoose fearlessly jumped onto Bhagavan's lap and sat gazing at him. Bhagavan caressed it and looked at it, pouring his grace. The ashram was crowded, and the only attendant present was MasthanSwami. He took care that the creature didn't get hurt and didn't hurt the peacocks there. Wherever the mongoose went, he followed it. After a while, it disappeared. When Perumal Swami, the ashram manager, returned, Masthan related what happened. Perumal Swami said, "You should have caught that mongoose and kept it tied down here." Bhagavan smiled at them. "Can you catch him? Can you tie him down? He is a Siddha Purusha. Arunachala is home to many Siddha Purushas. One of them wanted to come and spend some time here, so he came here."